do this. The big people in this country, they don't do this. I'm sorry. Most of the big people in this country don't do it. I remember, I can say out of experience, when I was a young brahmachari, when you meet the Swamis, you pay obeisances, before you get up, they are gone. Most of them. Obeisances means greeting. It's like if your child comes to you and says, "Good morning, sir." Or good morning. Good morning, ma. And you behave as if a fly has not even passed in a front. So here we are saying, how Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God, the Supreme Lord, the predominating deity of all universes. Does Krishna need to do this? Does he need to acknowledge the greetings? He's the Supreme Lord, man. He could just walk away. They could just think, well, they're my subjects. That's your job. That's your duty, you know. That's your duty to pay obeisances to me. That's your duty to go to Paris. But this is basically reciprocative appreciation. Reciprocative appreciation. I don't know what Krishna literally is doing there is like, saying, thank you so much for loving me. I love you too. Reciprocative appreciation. So, if the Supreme Lord is doing this, who are we not to appreciate the services that we receive from others? If it is your child, you should appreciate. If it is your parent, you should appreciate. Allah Krishna will just walk away and go to his palace. That he went around and he glanced over the citizens with love and affection, acknowledging their greatness, acknowledging this is not me saying this. This is what is written. This is what is in the Bhagavad Purana. So it is important for us. There are so many things. You see, the leaders are themselves purifying that what we derive from the leaders to implement in our own lives for our own personal and collective transformation. That constitutes realization. If we hear the stories and we repeat the stories, good. But what we learn from the stories to implement in our own lives to create a transformation, that is called realization. And so, Lord Krishna is a person, is a personality, and the Dwakavasis, they are literally like telling Krishna, hey, why are you traveling at all? Just be with us here. Oh, Master, if you live abroad all the time, then we cannot look at your attractive face. Whose smiles vanquish all our suffering. How can we exist without your presence? In other words, if you're away, we are non-existent. Similarly, if we are devoid of Krishna consciousness, our lives are completely miserable. And one of us we can tell from our own experience the difference between when we are not practicing Krishna consciousness and when you practice. If you choose to go back to your former life, will you voluntarily go back? It's miserable. I mean, it's like, I don't know the situation in India, but outside of India, especially in Western countries, there is this so much of self-gratification. Okay, so the boyfriend and girlfriend thing is so dominant that people are thinking, when am I going to finish college on time and have as many dozens of boyfriends as possible, and as many dozens of girlfriends as possible, and enjoy my life maximally. And then you find that these illicit relationships don't give sustainable pleasure, sustainable happiness. How is that? Boom, we're here. One of the girlfriends is become pregnant, and there is a big trouble. They go on a bus, go on a bus. I don't want to hear that. You enjoy it, but now there's a problem. I say, I don't want to hear that. So the way we try to be in Maya in different ways, it's amazing that the living entity, the embodied soul, gets covered by the illusory energy because we are separated, so-called separated from the Lord. Just like if we are away from the light, we cannot really perceive anything around us. We cannot see anything around us. We're in darkness. And so the living entity who is devoid of Krishna consciousness is in the dense forest of ignorance. They try to do so many things to keep themselves happy, sports, intoxications, drugs. But these things, they have their own health hazards. And therefore, it is important to understand that Krishna consciousness is the summum bonum of life, and we are attracted to people. Beauty. Everybody likes beauty. The woman wants to be attracted to a handsome man, but not a handsome man who has no skills, who has no money, because I know in some cultures, no matter how handsome you are, the woman will ask, "We're not going to eat handsomeness. How much do you have in your bank balance?" Yes, we're not going to eat handsomeness. You're going to take responsibility. So if I have a baby, are you ready to, cater for my baby? You're handsome. That's okay. What are your skills? So if you're handsome, it's fine. You're going to be attractive. And we tend to be attracted to people who are beautiful, handsome. So how do these people where do they derive their beauty, their attractiveness? From Krishna. Krishna is all attractive. Krishna is the all attractive personality of God. So everyone juggling around there, working so hard, they are actually attracted to Krishna's energy. Either the material energy, Bahiranga Shakti, or they are attracted to Antaranga Shakti. There is nobody who is not attracted to Krishna. It depends. It's just as a matter of what energy of Krishna you are attracted to. So in a sense, everyone is on the path of Krishna consciousness. Some people, it's like if you decide, like if you decide to go to Mayapur and then you say, well, I'll just trek to Mayapur. It takes you a while and maybe it will break down your health. If you say, well, I'll use a bicycle to go to Mayapur, it's also possible that it will take you a very long time and it will wreck your health. But if you go by a motor car, it's a matter of some couple of hours you'll be there and you'll be agile, you'll be healthy. So but then the person who is walking, using a bicycle, and using the motor car, they are all going to Mayapur. Right? It's just a matter of time. What time do they get to Mayapur? And what will be the state of health? So if we consider that everyone is on a path, is treading on a path of Krishna, we don't need to harass people. We don't need to harass people at all. All that we need to do is to encourage them. It's like if you're driving a limousine and someone else is driving a motorbike, you don't jam them and kill them. You give way for them. Isn't it? Yes. So for those of us who are lucky to be directly connected with Krishna in devotional service, we're protected by his anti-ranga shards. For those who are covered by Maya, by the illusory energy, they have to deal with the illusory energy. And it's so difficult. Lord Krishna mentions in the Gita that except one is surrendered unto him, he cannot conquer the material energy. He cannot defeat the material energy except one is surrendered unto him. Why? Because the material energy is also Krishna's energy. So if you try to defeat material energy, it means like you're defeating Krishna, which is very, very impractical, impossible. No one can defeat Krishna. Even in illusory energy, no one can defeat illusory energy. And so we see that the condition in the material world is so intense. Now, these days, there are different ways you can see people how they are conditioned. I remember, see, now, are you aware that they're training dogs to speak now, to talk? Dogs. Huh? Are you aware of that? Dogs, D-O-G, can talk right now. You are training them to talk. And so, first time I saw that, I was amazed because now the owner of the dog wants to display his dog in a show. And then he called the dog's name and said, "Can you say something?" The dog was just quiet. He didn't say anything. So he was like, what is this? Hey, say something. And then the dog says, "No." And everybody was amazed. They were like, okay, so then he asked the dog to say a particular word in different languages, in Spanish, English, French, and he said all of that. And I asked him to say something. He said no. He says no. And then he brought a bone. Dogs like bones. He brought a bone before the dog, and he said, "What about now?" Yes. Now, the illusory energy also provides us with different incentives. We may try to resist the illusory energy, but then it provides us with different incentives, different ways to lure us into her control. And sometimes we become ensnared by the illusory energy without even we know. We just say yes, like the dog who saw the bone and said, although he was not willing to say anything because he saw the bone, a bait, like you put something on a hook and then throw it into the river. So it's called a bait to catch a fish. The fish will come and swallow it, and then the fisherman will catch it. So the illusory energy also provides so many baits for the conditioned soul. For those who are treading on the path of Bhakti, the baits are also very numerous. that will provide you, like illusory energy may provide you with so much of resources. And there is a tendency that you have so much of resources and you forget Krishna. And at the same time, there are so many people who have so much of resources and they're using it for Krishna's sake. Like this building. Person has so much of resources and donated it to Krishna. And therefore, it takes someone with a lot of emotional courage to become extricated from the entanglement of the illusory energy, because the illusory energy is so powerful. But it's not more powerful than Krishna, because the illusory energy is Krishna's energy. And the energy is not able to surmount the energetic source. The energy is always subjugated to the energetic source. I mean, it's just like you have a child, no matter how tough nagging the child is, the mother can always, tie him up. If he gets too much, like Mother Yashoda did to Krishna. All the Krishna is the Supreme Lord, but he gets too much, nagging. And Yashoda decided to tie him up. So the illusory energy may tie us up if we don't take shelter of Lord Krishna properly. Because it's so, illusory energy is so powerful. And when we take shelter of Lord Krishna, like the Dwaka verses, then we don't have anything to fear. So in the Prabhupada gives a semen of the sun rays. The sun rays is actually coming from the sun disk. It's not separated from the sun disk. But when there is a cloud, there seems to be an apparent separation from the sun disk. So the cloud Papa compares it to the illusory energy that covers up the intelligence of the living entity. Without the illusory energy, life would have been so perfect in Krishna consciousness, right? But illusory energy also gives us different type of tests. If you're a student, you don't hate tests, because the test is what is going to allow you to go to the next grade, to be elevated. To get to the next class, you will be tested. So even in devotional service, we have this challenge of the clouds covering the sun rays. So we could be tempted by the illusory energy, or we could be covered up by the illusory energy. We could be circumscribed by the illusory energy if we don't properly take shelter of Lord Krishna. And if we don't take proper shelter of Lord Krishna, we will not have the bliss that the Dwakavasis were having. We will not have that experience, that darshan of the Lord. I don't want to mention the temple. There was one temple. So the Pujari one day came into the altar and he couldn't see the deities. So he asked the other Pujaris, who took the deities away? So the other Pujaris say, hey, what's going on with you? The deities are here. Deities are there. He couldn't see the deities. And you know what happened? He has been involved in some simple activities. And so Krishna buried him off. You don't think this is not forever. It happened in one of our temples. So Krishna, Lord Jagannath, for instance, has big eyes. Lord Jagannath has big eyes. With his big eyes, he sees what we are doing, whether it's in the bed of the sea, whether it's in the dead of night. And therefore, no one can cheat Krishna. Illusory energy is there to check us. And if we are sincere enough in our devotional culture, Krishna will provide what we lack. He will preserve what we have. And so, the desire of the devotee is to be able to come to that level where we can constantly serve Krishna in bliss, like the Dwaka verse. And we'll be able to receive the reciprocation from the Lord. When we chant the Lord's holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We do that purely, like the Dwaka verses do. We will receive the silent glance of the Supreme Personality of God. We will receive the mercy of the Lord. We will receive reciprocation. We will receive appreciative reciprocation from the Lord. So devotional service is very practical. We see others have performed it, they attain perfection, and we see how they are relating with Krishna. They are very joyous. Those who come out there, we should strive. That's what should come out there, and also who can attain in this very lifetime. Why not? So Lord Krishna is Bhakta Vatsala. He is very friendly disposed to his devotees. Is lovingly disposed to his devotees. So we should treat everyone around us like our loved ones. That's how Krishna treats everyone around. If we read, just books like Govinda Lilamrita, you see Krishna even doesn't sleep alone in his father's palace, in his room. He doesn't sleep alone in his room. His friends, they sleep all over the place in his room. Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah? His relationship with his friends is so intense. It's so intense. Love. It's so intense. So we should be able to understand that Krishna consciousness is not some dry philosophy. It is a very loving lifestyle that we can practically exemplify the Krishna consciousness we are practicing, and others will become attracted to Krishna consciousness. So it is important that we reflect on the interactions of Lord Krishna with the Dwakabhas. They are special people. You are also very special because you are associating with the Lord, associating with their lordships, associating with Prabhupada every day. It takes a great fortune to have the opportunity to come and have darshan on the Lord every day. It takes a great fortune to chant Krishna's names every day. Sometimes we complain that, I've been chanting the Krishna's name all these years, my mind is still distracted. I mean, it's like you're, on an airplane, and then you're complaining that, the plane is cruising on high, on great heights, and you're feeling so much object. But when you're passing through some areas, the pilot will announce, this is a very disturbing area, please buckle up your seatbelts. So we may have some problem in concentrating in chanting Krishna's name, but we should continue. The same remedy for that is to continue chanting. And at some point in time in our lives, we will become free from those distractions, from those anarthas. They are anarthas, and they are built up on the mirror of the mind from so many lifetimes. Only this one lifetime we want to use to solve the problem. So we should understand how it could be very challenging sometimes. For Master, you live abroad. The devotees, they don't want the Lord. They don't want to be separated from the Lord for even a moment. You will see in the life of the Dwakabhasis. Please My Lord, don't travel. Just be with us. I remember I was trying to uh, travel out to some preaching programs in other countries. So in New York, then I think I was discussing something with my personal assistant. She was a young student, and so I said, "See, I'm having some difficulties in booking the tickets and all these things. Should I go or not go?" She said, "Of course you shouldn't go." Okay, so people, if your parents want to travel and you're a young child in the home, would you allow your parents to travel? All right. So that relationship between Krishna and his devotees is so intense. And we can be part of the direction, can be part of that relation. The thing is that we just need to culture Bhakti, like I mentioned yesterday, engaging ourselves in devotional service, being able to create a balance between our devotion and our other activities. That we have to do that the constant watch about where we stand, and it will make a big difference. All right. Any comments or questions? Yes. Any comments? Yes. How do we balance between real life things, those who are working outside great people, and we are also living with the devotees. And there is a very huge difference in dealing with. Yeah, this question always comes up. I remember when I had a presentation to some professors at Mahavir Tanka University at Maharaj. When I finished, that was Professor target presentation on leading change. And so when we finished, the organizer, the professor, he called me on the phone and asked this very question. I had to balance, sadhana with our profession. It's a big challenge. And the challenge, no matter how big it is, it could be reduced, it could be pulverized, it could be turned into powder. The problem is like an iron, but an iron is very difficult to pulverize it. To turn an iron into powder, you have to pass it through some machines. Huh? It seems like a big problem, but it is not a problem if we adopt, first when we adopt some particular strategies like going to bed on time. On time means 9:30, 10 o'clock at the most. Why? Because between 10 and 12, science has proven beyond reasonable doubt, scientific research has proven beyond reasonable doubt that the best hours for body rejuvenation is between 10 and 12 in the night. So if you sleep at 9:30, 9 o'clock, or at most 10 o'clock, you are using those 2 hours for body rejuvenation. You will be stronger the next day than when you read till 3 o'clock and then you go to sleep and then you woke up at 11 o'clock. After even waking up at 11 o'clock, you miss the whole. There's another time that scientists have also proven beyond reasonable doubt that that time is most effective for high productivity, and that is in the early morning hours. We call it Brahma Muhurta. So the Brahma Muhurta hours, and between 10 and 12, they are so important. But in most cases, we violate this social, spiritual, scientific norm, and we have a problem. So if we adopt our lives in such a way that we're able to go to bed on time, to utilize 10 to 12 to rest, we should ensure that we are resting at that time. And if we are also ensure that we are using the early morning period from 4 o'clock to about 6:30 for spiritual activities and innovations, will be very successful. And to cover it up, we should be very effective in managing our time, our 24 hours. And it looks like a simple thing, but it is very difficult. Very difficult for people, especially who are addicted to the digital culture. Digital culture, there's no problem. I'm a researcher, and I use the internet for my research. I don't need to go to go and find some library and go and study. Everything is there on my table. But I have time to do that. I have phones, one American phone, one my Indian phone. But if you send me a message at 6:30, I will not see it. Because I don't normally touch my phone until maybe 10 o'clock. Some days, I don't check the messages until I finish all the things I need to do in the day. So yes, I have the equipment, I have the gadgets, but I'm not addicted to it. I use them for my research, but I'm not addicted to it. So, if we are able to effectively manage our 24 hours of the day, we will be able to properly integrate our spiritual sadhana and every other professional, social activities. That's a big problem. But people don't talk about this, but I remember when my PhD is in management science, and so when I was doing my doctoral program, we had a course on time management, and that is how I saw how important time management is. Yeah, because normally you are not taught in schools. For instance, you're doing engineering program. If even you're doing engineering program, science program to a PhD level, there is no course provision for time management. If you're doing management science in some of the institutions, you may be exposed to that course. That is so important because sometimes we miscue what is available to us. So if we have a timetable to be able to allot each activity within a particular time frame, that will help. But if even we have a timetable, if we are not able to control the mind and the senses, it's not going to be possible to follow the timetable. I've seen also in our temples, people are chanting, and these are even senior people. People are chanting, and they keep the telephone right before them. Okay, they're waiting for calls to come in. They're chanting Japa, and then a call comes in. And then they say, yes, hello. I have phones. I have two phones. One for American phone, one I got in India for local SIM card. But my phones are not close to me during my official periods. During my research work, during my spiritual sadhana programs. No. We get enamored to these new developments, but it's not a bad thing. New developments are not, they're not bad things, but they have also caused a lot of problems. For instance, the phone, the selfie, has caused so many deaths. One of our friends just died because of selfie. She went to pose by some waterfall or some, street tide, and gone. They couldn't even see the body. Electronic gadgets. And sometimes we enjoy it. This phone is buzzing, it's in our pocket and it's buzzing, so we enjoy it. Or sometimes we think, oh, just see, I'm so popular, everyone is calling here and there. So, yeah, the way to be able, it's a big problem because people use that as an excuse. That these are the problems they don't see, but they use because of my work, I don't have the time for chanting. Because of my school, I don't have the time for chanting. Yeah. So, and even children, they use school as an excuse to parents. And in most cases, the parents, they're not educated. I know some cases of some of these parents in our movement that they're not educated. And so the child tells them they can't chant because of studies. So I just laugh because, and if the parents accept that, that's a problem. Because tomorrow, I've seen also tomorrow, they don't have a strategy for the future of the children because they don't also have, they're not skilled. And you see sometimes, you see some devoted parents, they come on the web, on the internet, and they're soliciting for donation for their child. They want to do this, want to do this and do this. When you are ready to school your child, he will not come and beg on you. No, you're not a brahmachari. So it's a simple thing. Strategy, strategic thinking. Literal strategic thinking. So time management is a big problem. We should incorporate that in our system of social and spiritual life, and everything will be perfect. Any other comments or questions? Yes.
Often people judge people without knowing their background or religion.
People do what? Huh?
That people judge.
Oh, being judgmental? Okay.
How to deal with that? They don't care, they care our material.
Yeah. You see, some people being judgmental is, even materially speaking, being judgmental is not a good way of life. Because you're not being considerate. You don't put yourself in another person's shoes. You are not even appreciative of what others are doing, but you're judging them. We are not Krishna to judge anybody. We are not Maharaj to judge anybody. A devotee does not judge anybody. If you see something wrong with somebody, you try to be friendly with them to help them. You don't go and, talk here, talk there. So being judgmental is not a good attitude. But there are people who are very judgmental. That is not a devotional value. You see, even parents are subject to also to flaws. Yeah, but the approach is wrong. They have good intentions, but the approach is wrong. You see, if you see a child doing something, or if even you have a little child, they do something silly, and all that you do is to start beating them. No, that is not going to solve the problem.
They don't really care. They don't even help anything in any way. They just suggest try not to study. Like many a time thinking that
being judgmental is not good, but if someone, as a devotee, we should be humble. If someone is being judgmental on us, we should think, how do I grow with this? We should not.
already if I study then I will pass. They don't know what is the reason why I am not studying.
But if you're a student, you must study. And if someone tells you why you're not studying, they are not being judgmental, they're just being practical. If a student's duty is to study, how can a student not study? And he allows someone to tell you why you're not studying. You should be happy that someone comes to tell you why you're not studying. I remember when I was in high school, in primary school, grade 6, my uncle used to come to chase me away from my reading desk in the night. I'll read so hard. My uncle comes in to chase me away from my reading desk. So if a child is not reading, is not doing good to themselves, the child should not allow someone to even see that they are not reading to come and remind you why you're not reading. No, that's not proper. We should read so much so that someone comes to us to ask, another student comes to us to ask, how can I be reading? How can I be addicted to reading like you? Not that they come and say, why are you not reading?
There is no any alternative career of another place. We study good, gaining knowledge, but in our modern day college system, there is no productivity, there is nothing to that cognitive ability and develop thinking logical thinking.
No, but there are some courses. Listen, in my master's, I did education and philosophy with a major in critical and creative thinking. So there are some courses that allow you to boost your creativity, your innovative thinking skills.
Not like some set of questions they get, they just studying their speech in such a way that no one gets impacted from it. They lean into this. They're thinking people coming to the college, they're thinking that we will do something very good.
We'll do something good.
Yes.
Yeah, but then say, look at it. Going to college is a big challenge. Why? Because everything you learn in college is strange, abstract. And you have to read the coursework or the books over and over again and again to be very conversant with this subject matter. Okay. Going to college is not a cheap thing. You're not going to study things that you see in your mother's kitchen. You're going to be exposed to things you have never dreamt of. If you're doing engineering, very abstract things. It's not history that you even think about. So yeah, science is a challenge, but that creates your social future. So we should not be disenchanted to our to our professional development because of challenges. Challenges are bound to be there. We should not capitalize on the challenges. We should see the challenges as a stepping stone for our personal growth. We should live above the challenges and be an example for other people. A devotee, for instance, a devotee student, a devotee worker should be a good example for the non-devotees in their setting, in their environment. Yes. Any other comments? Yes, Mataji, any comments? Come close. So, yeah, devotees are very lucky because you get refreshed every here and then. You see, in most places, you go and hear some preacher preach, talk. They don't give time for question and answer. We talk and then it's finished. We just
like then usually even those subjects I like one don't like now.
yeah, this is it's a problem because even in the school, if you ask a question to the professor, they would sometimes they think that you are.
Then what is the then if someone gives money, then I will buy for it. It's not right.
That yeah, I understand the point.
What should be interested in
People work. People work. It's not that they are interested in work. They are interested in the revenue, the money. They're not working for Krishna.
Corporate sector study is based on what the industry requires. Some people earning money by our knowledge, but the different Christians here such that the syllabus is outdated, not any professors are.
Listen, if syllabuses are outdated,
Not professors, but they are good, but syllabus the authority is not taking any.
yeah, but you see, anything that you are not able to change, you should just live with it. Anything that you are not able to change, you leave it. That is completely beyond your jurisdiction. If the syllabus is outdated, what can you do about that? You study and get your degree and get away, and then we have to reform and create a better future for those who are coming up. If you go and be worrying yourself how the syllabus is outdated, that will not help to improve your grades. Okay? You have a good reason, okay? You're concerned, you're concerned with the general problem. But there is a general problem and there's a specific problem.
Many of my friends are frustrated.
So, but we should not be frustrated. You see, if we go into an institution to learn a particular skill, to do a particular course, we should be focused.
Right again, right submit. What is the reason why writing so much?
So, see, the point is that we should be goal oriented. Don't allow the external circumstances to distract you from your goal. Don't allow even the educational institution, the policies, or whatever, to distract you from your goal. Your goal is to get a degree in engineering. Focus on that. Whatever that is happening becomes like a distraction. You focus on that. Adjust yourself. Be adjustable to fit into the system to be able to attain your goal. There's one major problem here. A major problem either in the work setting, in schools, in homes, in communities, international, national. That's what we call in psychology maladjustment. Maladjustment. Maladjustment means it's a psychological a challenge where people are not able to adapt to a particular setting, particular environment, people's particular behavior, specific behavior, but then they want the whole world, everyone else to adjust themselves to suit their purpose. People are not ready to adjust themselves to suit their purpose. You have to adjust yourself to suit the purpose of the people you're dealing with to be able to attain your goal. When you attain your goal, you're in a position of power, you can set the policy straight. What you want, how people should behave, how people should go about pursuing their goals, how to rectify whatever syllabuses that you perceive they are outdated, or whatever. But right now, forget about those things. Focus on your goal. Be adjusted to be able to attain. If you are not adjusted, you get frustrated in this world. I'll give you an example. We had one boy when I was younger in a temple of Brahmachari. We had one young boy in our temple. He's from Nepal. He was a Brahmachari from Mayapur, but he didn't go to college. Okay, there's this set of boys who go through the Gurukul and they never went to school. He's very sharp, very sharp. But he was like very offensive to practically everybody. I remember they told me when I went to that temple that I shouldn't associate with him. But then I thought, if I have to live in this temple with this guy, okay, they said he's very bad, he's donkey, and all this stuff. I need to adjust myself to suit his purpose so that we can be friends. And I did that for the number of years I stayed in that temple. People came to me and advised him, don't get close to that guy. Never get close to him. But I can't live my life like that. So I adjusted my life, adjusted myself, and fit into his system. We became friends. So adjustment will help us to be able to attain our goals. Be goal-oriented. Even in devotional service, you have so much of, incoherency sometimes. And sometimes you find somebody who behaves in a way that is hurtful to you, and then some people abandon devotional life because of that. But that means they are maladjusted. They are not able to adjust themselves to fit into the system. Devotional life is Krishna's property. Devotional life is Krishna's property. And therefore, if someone's behavior impacts on us negatively, we should be adjusted to be able to move on with our lives. Not that we say, well, I want to abandon my devotional sadhana because of this part. Or some professor is not teaching the course nicely, and then you say, let me just give up my career. Because the teachers, they're a bunch of nonsense. The professors, they're a bunch of nonsense. They don't know anything. Or others have passed through the same process and got their degrees. Be adjusted. Get what you want, and then, you can help to change the world tomorrow. Be the change. Be the change you want to see. Yeah, so life is not easy. That's my point. Life is not easy. Life is not so, juicy. It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of struggle, devotion or material. Nothing is easy. Srila Prabhupada, okay,